player. It's been like a Twitch against one shot, or Parabellum's Ying getting taken out from underneath them. But Thatcher, Mira, Valkyrie have been the 3 most common, and I don't really know that many times that a defensive ban is deviated from those 2 in particular. Sometimes a Kaid, but it's just bog standard for every single team so far in this tournament. No one likes to try something different. Not to say the meta is getting stale to that degree. We all know a Valkyrie change is coming in the future, but Mira's been in the exact same state that she's been in since launch. The only thing different about this one is Thatcher. I expect both attacker bans are going to relate in some capacity to Hard Breach still.
And indeed, we are going to see that as both Thatcher and Hibana are going to be knocked right out of the pool there. I think we see the Hibana choice, but again, makes sense considering we are going to be going on to bank. You kind of have a couple choices of the way you want to go there. Hibana is one that slots in quite nicely. With that, we move over towards the defensive bans, where again, things should go pretty predictably here. I'm just going to throw a wild Valkyrie guess out for the first one, and we'll see. That's I think I was right. Let's see.
I'll pop up in a second when it does. Wait.
Hey! I love this. Anyway, Valkyrie is indeed going to be the kind of predictable first ban. She's still too universally useful, so she is the, unfortunately, the first pick of the litter when it comes to getting knocked down in most of these games.
God, we really telegraphed those bans perfectly, didn't we? it's not even that crazy. It's like you don't have to like dive through stats trying to figure out what gets banned the most often. If you looked at the Siege GG page for this, it's just 4 like red bars all across for like most of the operators that we've seen here. So again, not all that much change, but if it isn't broke, don't worry about fixing it. In TSM's case, you don't have to change all that much because you 7-0'd Parabellum on this map only around 24 or so hours ago. And all you have to do is repeat the same formula.
Yeah, it's a little strange that the bans have been so static because in the meta as of the last like 6 months or so, attacker bans have getting a little bit more varied in my opinion.
Which is great. Like, I love that you have so many options these days, but you're right. It does just tend to stick to what you know. I mean, Thatcher in this case, remember back when it was like only a Latin American ban? Like it was just, it would just be Brazil back in the Pro League days, and they were the only team that banned it. Now everyone does, and they supplement not having a Thatcher with literally anything else. Some guys like to bring a Twitch, sometimes a Flores is employed in a couple of maps, especially on Chalet. But in this case, there's not really all that much brought. Every Hard Breach operator that isn't a Hibana is in play for the attackers currently.
We even had the phase, if I'm remembering correctly, like after he got nerfed, where like he wasn't being banned that often.
Yeah,
and then teams just wouldn't even bring him because like all of their setups had worked him out of the plan by that point. So it was too much of an inconvenience to bring him back.
You're just like, hey, Thatcher's a cheat code in so many scenarios, and you're just like, well,
it's like, who do we replace though? Because we got this different setup now.
We don't need him. We like everything in the guns that we've got and stuff. We don't need this anymore.
So either way, folks, we get into our first round here. And TSM, obviously, on the defense, will choose to start in the basement. This has been our usual go-to site for quite a few of our teams. Certainly going to test the mettle of Parabellum here to try to iron out this extended play if we get much of any at all from TSM. It's looking like there's not going to be much when it comes to the second floor, but first floor, we'll have a little bit of that play working towards it, I believe.
A little bit of a turtle setup here. You don't have to get super aggro on the top floors, but yeah, I think probably like maybe 1 to 2 roamers who've got quick access back to a staircase or a hatch is going to be super influential. No Kaid ban, but no Kaid has been brought, so the hatches themselves are going to remain completely available for any and all attackers. And there are, again, 3 of these Hard Breach operators that will be able to remove those from the field. Kool-Aid is looking for a drop down through Marble Skylight. I don't know if he necessarily sees somebody, but Achieved is there. Fire a couple shots and head back to open area. So still, it's Achieved and it's Bolo who are up top, right above the site, but it's a very quick rotate back through. Parabellum is seeing if they can't take some people off the board, but Melted is the first casualty. Bolo still inside Teller's office looking to stave off somebody here from ATMs.
Bolo continuing his kind of wrath from the previous series. He's going to be able to follow that through already with a double inside of the first round of the series. Kool-Aid will get the first exchange here for Parabellum, but he himself will be re-exchanged pretty much immediately by Bolo, who's up to a triple already, single-handedly taking care of all this aggression from Parabellum right now. Let's make it 4, because why the heck not? Bolo just ripping everyone to shreds on PB right now, so it all falls to Eska in a 1v4.
Good Lord, Bolo, can you lay off the trigger finger for just a second? If he can find Eska, he'll have himself an ace just to start this darn thing off, and that will be the worst momentum setter Parabellum. They don't want that to happen, but he's just going to keep himself alive in open area for right now. Chances for Eska keep on dropping every second that ticks off that clock. Bolo's going hunting, but it'll be Gio to finish things off. Bolo gets a 4K, and that is exactly what TSM needed in this series start.
Yeah, pretty much that's all there is to write home about it. Bolo just dominating all the attempts to clear out the slight extended game, which really was pretty much just him and a few other players positioned throughout the first floor as bait more than anything. But it works out for Bolo as he's able to clean up shop on 4 separate 1v1s. That's part of the issue for Parabellum, is they're never able to put him in a position where they can at least trade him out. Yeah, get it into sort of a kind of 2v1 situation where you can at least get him on an off angle and guarantee you take him down. All those were separate engagements that he was able to handle with no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, it wasn't even that the drone game was necessarily lacking, because I'm pretty sure they understood there's a castle still sticking around an open area. There's someone who can rotate from tellers back towards Marble Staircase. That was Bolo the whole time. I honestly wondered if Achieved was going to have more of an impact in that round simply because of where he was positioned, but everyone feeds Bolo 1v1 gunfights, and he has come to play. Like you said, 4K, because why the heck not? And TSM off to a pretty blazing start.
And once again, that brings up the concern we talked about in the pregame for Parabellum, struggling with their entries, and once again, that's going to rear its ugly head pretty much immediately. They're only able to get 1 exchange throughout the entirety of that first round. Only the first round, though, so plenty of time for Parabellum to try and make up for this, given the fact that they have plenty of information being brought into this game from yesterday's series as well. Keep a close eye on how they're going to look to make adjustments as they bring the Nook into play once again for this round, played by Spirits, as well as the normal semblance of attack and utility that we would generally expect to see here on the bank.
Yeah, prior to the series getting started, or this entire tournament rather, Parabellum had only played Bank 1 time over the past 3 months. From Stage 3 of Challenger League on, they did it 1 time. It was against Investigation File in a series that they ended up getting propelled into the CL lower bracket playoffs through, that started their whole Cinderella run back to the top that eventually got them to relegations, but that was the only time. They favor something like a Chalet or an Oregon or a Villa in several circumstances, but now they find themselves here, and because of the ban format, remember, TSM picked this off rip before Parabellum even had a chance to ban something out.
Tellers will be up next here for the TSM roster's defense, is already looking quite confident with another extended setup bleeding itself up to the 2nd floor. Parabellum obviously getting into these early positions to try and figure things out. As you were saying, the drone game was really not lacking in that last round. They seemed to have pretty good information about where TSM was going. They just couldn't really get the positioning set up to try and lock down any single player from TSM, except for the 1 trade that Kool-Aid was able to get. Away from that here, though, being played very slowly as Parabellum once again uses the majority of this first minute here just to set up their initial entry positioning, as well as for additional drone time. Achieve going to be moving up, but he doesn't realize he's already full square control. Maybe he does realize it, but either way, not going to be able to stop his fate as Penguin gets the first kill of this round, knocking out Achieved.
Yeah, in spite of it not being a CEO defense, you'll still put a shield and a couple of magnets upstairs in order to try and stall for time in that choke point. Secondary kill, Penguin finds Bolo in the midst of this top squares push, so that's 2 straight players getting taken down. Maybe Gio can finally find the refrag, and he will, and down Diffuser, but he's already decided it's better to just back off this rotation instead. So that shield plus those magnets wastes right around half the round, and the only person that you lose is Penguin, and there still is 1 more hard breach option on the table, so for PB, that's a pretty decent trade.
Parabellum sitting in a comfortable position right now, still with plenty of access needing to be gained, though. You're going to see Eska, of course, now that they've finally been able to take out the extended roam on the 2nd floor, begin to sledge out the floor and make these positions from Chal and probably 1 other member of TSM a bit more uncomfortable inside. As you can see, Eska already locating the position of Chal, getting some good damage off one, but Merc elsewhere is able to strike true and take down Spirits instead, evening out the man count down to a 3v3.
Bit of a stall tactic now. Everyone from TSM is still trying to focus their efforts toward the bomb site, and Parabellum themselves are a little bit splintered. Back through Financial Office is where Melted's coming through. He may be able to assist Kool-Aid, or he'll take the main stairs route back, but Shala, he will down Kool-Aid just over the lip of it, but right upstairs, Eska and Shala still come to blows. Couple seconds remaining. They can reclaim the diffuser and move, but they're not going to have all that much time with which to execute.
Nice play from Merc here. He's going to be able to get some great damage going, but he's not able to stop the res, nor is he able to down the player being res either. Big miss there as he seemed to have it lined up, and they had the intel coming, as you guys probably saw from one of those Maestro cams, but it won't matter as now it falls to a 3v2. Gio evens us back out once again. He's been picking up all the important trades. Merc here finally able to re-down Eska, leaving it all on to Melted now in 1v2 with 5 seconds left to get case control. Unfortunately, he'll walk right into Merc, shutting it all down and giving the round over to TSM.
All right. Parabellum trying to go quickly off of both of those kills achieved in top square. Both achieved, and I'm pretty sure it was Bolo dying up top. Bolo wasn't able to get anything going in that round. Just goes to show you how versatile the rest of the TSM FTX roster can be just by themselves when they have to work around a man disadvantage. They don't allow themselves to get down mentally. They've always got a plan going forward, and in that case, it's shore the defense up a little bit. The one risk might have been Chala peeking the front desk with Maestro for a second. I'm like, you don't want to leave the safety of the bomb site, but still, he downs Kool-Aid, forces Parabellum to reassess what they do, have someone else pick up Diffuser, still revive Kool-Aid. That still wastes time, and it's exactly what the defense needs to do here.
So open area is next up on the docket as TSM continue to just rotate through all the sites they have lined up. Not needing to test out the second floor just yet either, as that's a site where we've been seeing a lot of defensive teams kind of struggle with that one a little bit just due to the ability for the repelled players to kind of harass the inside players, so it's a bit more of a chaotic site to try and hold. So instead, they've gone for pretty much entirely first floor and basement holds here for their 3 site rotations. Away from that, Parabellum is going to do some slight changes. The Yana being brought in for Spirits now instead of the Nook, as well as Kool-Aid going over towards a Finka to add some extra frag potential into this game as well. Like I said, their drone presence hasn't been horrible, so this could be a good plan if they're going to once again emphasize on top-down control, which they should considering the site, to be able to maybe knock out a few players early on with those frags.
So far, Parabellum's entire tournament has not been plagued by improper frag grenade usage. They've just had a tendency to bring a lot of them, and most of them don't really do much. We'll see maybe 1 out of 8 get a kill, or maybe 2 shields get knocked down or something like that. So their utility usage with frag grenades notwithstanding, usually those are enough to just create space or make their opponents kind of second guess where they're meant to sit on a bomb site. So the fact that we're only seeing 2 pairs of nades or 3 pairs of nades brought out here means that we should, at the very least, see TSM get pressured into some awkward angles, but you need to have the vertical presence necessary to really force them into some awkward spots.
That's going to be the usual emphasis from Parabellum here in the opening seconds of the round. First Adrenal Surge coming out here as well to allow Spirits to go through the J push, give him that extra health boost that might be needed to win the initial gunfight, but a barbed wire is going to hold him back, and a nice cutoff from Penguin outside of the stock window prevents Merc from making his own aggressive play to stop the J-Hall push. Beautifully done by Parabellum to get the opening kill.
Definitely has a rotate option down, does Penguin if he wants to hit the elevator and start pushing towards the site proper. Spirit does also notice the rotate that's been created by the Orcs. A little bit of a fight happening between the two of them. He's got the Bailiff out, but he's going to meet his maker again by use of Thermite. And Penguin opens up the second consecutive round with the first 2 frags. No Merc, no achieved. Gio's got an answer up top, but you don't have, you only have 1 Nitro Cell left, but Bolo's not worried about playing vertically. He wants this flank instead.
Parabellum, once again, getting a lot more consistent when it comes to...
He doesn't know.
Oh, the Nitro comes in, but thankfully Penguin was mid-spray when it was tossed, so just a quick adjustment away from getting that one, and now Bolo hops in up on top, but right behind him is going to be Melted, who takes him out. Gio was also able to find Kool-Aid elsewhere on the map, and we're down to a 2v2 after the chaos settles, the dust settles, and with still over a minute to go, this is going to be a very tense late game for both of these teams.
Suddenly there's a really big difference between who's got health and who doesn't. Right now, Parabellum cannot get healed up from a Finka boost from Kool-Aid, but there are Kona stations that will allow TSM to sprint back and get up to full HP, which is where we find everybody after all of those engagements. So far, Gio, 6 kills. Chala's got nothing, but he's going to look to add something to the scoreboard as both of them are entrenched on the site right now as Parabellum takes another opportunity to just acquire more intel. They've got time with which to work. They can push into Beeper right from open if they so choose, but Chala can probably pop his head up from that angle. So once they ascertain where these players are positioned, that'll be when they make their push, but time is beginning to dwindle here.
Gio's been this very impressive late round rock for TSM here. The Parabellum has not really been able to successfully deal with, as you guys can see. No deaths as of yet for this player as he continues to maintain that in-sight presence and cause plenty of problems via trades against Parabellum here. Once again, it's slowing them down as we enter the final 20 seconds of this round. Gio ready to catch another one, but Chala's going to help him out there and finish off the kill. Melted tries to go for a trade, but is not able to connect onto the shots needed here and is having trouble finding his target as he re-enters the open area itself. He'll move forward. He knows he's got one close to the corner, sees the body, but can he get the kill? No, it goes to Chala instead, and TSM secure a 3rd consecutive round.
Wow, Parabellum thriving in the chaos. This is something that we've known about them for a while. Penguin is already calling a timeout. 3 rounds in, a perfect site rotation. So now here as we see a little bit of a cheeky swap over. It's an intel operator as opposed to a vigil for Bolo. How does Parabellum respond after 3 straight rounds of what seems like incredibly fast-paced action? It feels like we've only been here for 5 minutes, yet TSM already has a lead this big.
PB just going to keep changing up the operators as well here. The frag emphasis didn't really work out. Still going to see quite a bit of it here once again, as we'll have Maverick still in play along with a Jackal now brought in for Kool-Aid instead of what we were seeing before with the Finka, as well as the Nook play being brought to the force as well. So let's see how the Maverick might potentially help this team out, as they're going to add even more hard breach, triple hard breach in fact, to the equation to maybe get things open a bit quicker.
I'm pretty sure our good esteemed NAL colleague Jesse Chick is listening to the broadcast right now. Jesse, there's a chance for a world tour. You excited? If TSM were to win this one, that then means that they will have won every single bomb site on this map without dropping one in the process. They would have circumnavigated the globe and won all 4 sites without Parabellum having any recourse. And on a map like Bank that sometimes can have a bit of an attacker swing, the fact that we're already seeing Parabellum in a deficit this large might mean TSM have already removed the first map from the field after just 3 rounds. Won't get ahead of myself, but that's the direction we're heading in.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities for Parabellum to swing back, but the large majority of the advances I've been seeing Parabellum make have largely been on their attacking side. That's what this team has looked the most impressive to me, so if things are going to look sour here, it does not bode well, at least from my opinion, in terms of what will happen inside of the second half. Merc will lose his Goyo shield supporting him here in the hallway fairly early, and unfortunately has to walk through the flames a bit, so he'll lose about half of his HP in the process, but keeps himself alive as he backs up closer towards the elevator banks and nearly gets an opening fight here versus Melted, sitting on the outside of stock.
Feels like even though these opening engagements have been, Penguin all the way, sometimes they don't happen until, maybe like the first minute or so into the round. It's not as though they're storming right in and trying to find frags, like a Yana coming in off the backs of a drone or something similar. And down below, this one might be a problem. There was a Vigil. Bolo 6th picked over to this, but no,
nice.
He'll get naded. That's actually pretty perfect, because now it requires Penguin to go right back up and try to open those top square walls with no concern about somebody down below. Merc will answer back onto Melted, so it's not all lost, but still, the reason for that pulse pick in the first place already has been taken off the board.
Once again, quick exchanges, though, from TSM as they're able to keep control over these chaotic situations despite picking up the first kill again. This time being able to knock out Bolo one more time. Penguin nearly actually getting caught out by the flank from Blue there. Achieved, trying to go for a bit of a cheeky play himself, but quickly backs away when he realizes he's not going to be able to connect onto it there. Either way, Penguin going to throw out both of the exothermics, opens up a wide path into both of the sites here, and will then rotate into a different position outside as he hops into the window here. The team now nearly primed for the execute, and still with over a minute to go. This is great execute setup from Parabellum. Now they just need to translate it into a site.
Gio's got a really nice spot, actually, top balcony right in front of the primary office, because he can just hang back. No one's pushing him from ATMs or from main stairs, but just like that, TSM deciding to put the man count back in their favor, but Kool-Aid is at the very least there with a trade. Walls opened up. Penguin wants to go for a plant right behind CEO desk. Everyone on TSM is just beginning to fall back, and Achieved, now with no kills, has to find 3, or this one's all lost. The World Tour will not be complete. Fragnate is going to be whipped over, but Achieved at the very least finds Exka. Still got a grenade indicator, but he manages to keep himself alive. 2 kills now to find. 1 player right back outside stock on the rappel. Instead, Kool-Aid is going to go all the way back up. Can he find the frag? No, at the very last second, he manages to get out of dodge, and it's just Achieved still, but Penguin's got this rappel. Now both of them are just going to sit here, hold the windows. This should be all she wrote for Achieved, unless he can get this off sneakily. Ooh, he can't. He has a little bit of cover, but Kool-Aid's going to go. Achieved is trying to stick this thing. Can he see him? Oh, he finally does. I almost thought he had that thing. Finally, Parabellum get around here.
Yeah, Achieved, honestly, good work in trying to find that angle there. He nearly had it, but as we saw there, Kool-Aid able to find just a sliver of his shoulder or something to be able to chip off the damage and finish him off. So some great work from Parabellum, and specifically great work once again from Kool-Aid, getting a triple kill over the course of that round, with the 2 most important ones coming on the execute to clear out the site and allow them in. It's also not to discount that great work by Eska, as well as I believe Penguin helping out with that as well there, to be able to set up for that grenade to be able to take the initial player out inside of Archives.
Penguin's still 3-0 on entry.
That's actually crazy.
I love that. I mean, one, it's coming from a Thermite player, which you just never see. But it's kind of like his personal redemption arc so far as the day is going on, because he's not top fried lobbies at all. It feels like this entire weekend.
Like you said, he was like Zoph and Ash yesterday versus Mirage.
I'm just like, wait a second, this is weird. But no, I mean, for a map like Bank, you've got a Habana ban. You do need to supplement that with all the other hard breachers. That's perfectly sensible. Just didn't expect to see Kool-Aid, or sorry, Penguin in this case, putting up that kind of stat line. That's still pretty good. Actually, I'm pretty certain, what, was it all of the kills that he's had so far have been entry ones? I think so. Based on what I've put down here, the only kills he has are ones that are on entry.
I actually thought he had 4, so I'm a little confused by that.
I thought he had like 5. Yeah, wait.
Yeah.
Wait. What? I'm confused.
Right, I'm thrown off now too.
Yeah.
I was gonna sworn I saw him get at least 4 kills, but
yeah, I thought it was like the rounds 2 and 3. He gets like the first 2, creates all that space.
I was living in a fever dream apparently.
It's been a long weekend, dog.
So TSM is looking to control a 4th round as we inch towards the end of the initial half here. Obviously not going to be re-attempting that extended site, as like I was saying before, it's a bit of a risk to go there in the first place. Probably just felt the confidence since they'd won the first 3 sites without too much conflict, and are now going to fall back onto their initial site choice of basement since it's been unlocked for 2 rounds now.
Still playing downstairs here in Archives. That's where Bolo was before, but he's gone back for the Mozzie, which he did nab that 4K on, and since then he's been relatively quiet. Only 1 more kill to his name since round 1 got this thing underway. And Penguins also made a bit of an op switch too. He's rocking the Mav as opposed to Therm, but for this site it's a little bit different. Don't have to use it nearly as religiously. You can still open up those hatches because again, a kite has not been brought, but Penguins going to open up with entry yet again. This man continues his streak. 4 rounds straight he's been able to pull this one off, and Merc is removed from play.
Tied on top fragging right now as well next to Kool-Aid, so some great effort coming out from Penguin here. Really wants to try and punch that ticket to Sweden. In just about 4 or 5 days time here now. Kool-Aid and the rest of the squad are obviously going to want that as well, but need to get past TSM, and first of all, need to get past this Bank map as well, considering the 07 loss to it just yesterday. And oh no, not the way they wanted this to start out after Penguin got the opener. Bolo, as well as 1 additional member of TSM, going to be able to quickly trade things out as Penguin himself and Eska both go down. Kool-Aid's going to be able to lock onto at least 1 player, but they can't really do much on it as it's over by the main stairs, and that player has a very easy rotate path to get out of dodge.
Yeah, to lose nades on Eska at this point in the round is a bit of a detriment, considering how much util is still remaining on TSM's side. Verticality isn't something you have to worry about too much, but TSM still are not dedicating an operator pick to a Kaid, which means hatches can be opened by Melted if they haven't already, and Spirits can also work over some crowd control. Interesting at this point to see Spirits, the guy who usually leads the charge statistically for Parabellum, yet to find a frag. He's still looking to get his bearings underneath him, it seems, and the rest of TSM at this point can simply fortify on the site and not really give Parabellum all that much of an edge with which to work. Melted can reclaim Diffuser, so at the very least it looks like their takedown main stairs seems to be coming through. Maybe they can catch Chala off guard a little bit, but now here comes the Lion Scans as Spirits comes through Garage.
Chala quickly dispatching of Kool-Aid and going to go for a second as well, as we have Melted trying to work his way down the main stairs here. But Chala, cool, calm, and collected, knows he has support from a different angle, and he's going to rely on that instead to get the kill achieved. Sinks that one as Melted goes down, leaving the entire round up to Spirits now, who's yet to find a kill inside of this match, and now suddenly has to clutch out a 1v4 with only 25 seconds left from the Garage push as well, and still doesn't even have case control. This round is unfortunately pretty much unwinnable here. More than likely looking at a 4th round for TSM in just a second.
Yeah, not wanting to give much of a chance to Spirits. He's back here just fighting for his life. They're killing him with all these bullets. He finally manages to take him down. But that is now the 4th round for TSM on a map that does have an attacker swing. You know how concerned I am right now for Parabellum's, like, their opening conversion rate? The fact that it's been Penguin so often as this game has gone on. Yeah, 3 times now to 4, I'm pretty sure, because he got the opening kill on that previous one. He's got the opening frag so consistently, and it's been a man count swing for Parabellum on several rounds consecutively. Yet what's happened? TSM's like, fine, because we just have to put more work on Geo and Chala and Achieved every once in a while. It's just like, they've got this down, dude.
Yeah, every single opening kill that Parabellum has got, Penguin has been a part of it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
He directly got 3 to 4, and the 4th one he had like an intel assist because he gave the drone intel that allowed Eska to throw the nade and kill that player in that round. So really good on that, but again, just they can't translate it into a sight for some reason because the trades immediately show up for TSM the second they find that kill. I don't know if it's, again, they're not moving forward quickly enough, and TSM is able to get the positional info and then react quickly enough, or another factor is going wrong, but either way, it is causing massive issues for Parabellum here and is leaving them with a very, very detrimental scoreline coming up on the 6th round.
They're still trying to mix some things up. Honestly, I think we talked actually like right before the series began and like during the ban phase about how attackers usually don't differentiate all that much. They're trying some things out. Our Parabellum, first time we've seen a gridlock, I swear, like all tournament, I'm pretty sure, for additional flank watch potential in addition to Melted's Nomad. They're trying to hold as many angles as possible, do not want TSM to get these flanks off, but that's kind of the inherent issue with Bank. It's such a massive map, you can't hold every single angle at once. You can create avenues simply because of how much destruction this map enables you to just clear through. So I love that Parabellum is getting experimental, but at what cost? Like, you're sacrificing several other operators you could have brought here, like an additional hard breach. You've gone down from 3 at the start of this half to just the 1, and Penguin's the one playing it. Spirits has it to find the scoreboard. There's a whole host of problems with PB right now.
I think Eska's the only one who hasn't changed operator this half now. Everybody's played at least 2.
I think you're right, actually, yeah.
Because Eska's been a consistent player on the sledge, but we would have had Penguin in a consistent role too, except for now he's changed over to an ace, so even that's switched over, and the same for Melted as he's gone from aces.
He's played a hard breach every round, you know, there's a little consistency, but...
the role is consistent.
And it's true, but still, they haven't won.
Ooh, that's a dirty one. And let's go for a second. Number 3 might be right around the corner here from Bolo, as he's got 2 beautiful headshots, nearly direct ones as well from the up, but Eska finally finds him through a small people here to take out Bolo as well, and finally end his wrath of terror inside of this round. Geo, he's been consistent on these trades as well, but not going to be able to find that one, as Parabellum, specifically Eska, is going to be able to steal a small amount of control over here towards Banana.
Bro, he's trying so hard to bring this one back. Melted at the top of square, can probably create a little bit more space, but oh no, Achieved. You're going to hold this angle all the way from stock and find me. He knows there's someone top square. The call comes in. Achieved is actually going to make a rotate around, so he gives himself more space. Penguin has opted to rotate all the way back to loan office for right now. He'll open up an angle, but there's a Womai right in elevator, right where Achieved just made that drop. So if these two are about to come to blows, Penguin wants to make sure it's him and not give TSM a 4v2 up, and Achieved's swing is perfectly timed. Even though the ace charges still go off below, I'm not convinced that was the play from Penguin.
Timing for TSM just so rough for Parabellum to play against here, as they're going to fall down. Only 2 players remaining now against a still fairly strong 4. Yeah, Chief's taking a little bit of damage, but every other player is at full HP here now for the TSM roster. So they are sitting nice and confident, not even really feeling the need to keep their extended play out and about anymore. They've got plenty to work with, and Chala wins the reversal fight here. Merc as well just runs right up to Melted and shuts it all down. That's going to be a 5-1 half, and a dominant one at that from TSM.
So, you know how Parabellum got slapped by TSM on this map 7-0 yesterday? They said the reason for it, according to Penguin on Twitter, we had a whole bunch of rehosts, we couldn't find a way to get into a group. I would accept that because it's a lot of rehosts, like stalling something that could have worked. You know, we may never find out what that looks like until those VODs go live. But here's the thing, I kind of also understand why they lost it now, because they're doing a lot of things correctly. Their drone game is fine, it's serviceable, it's nothing exemplary. They understand where they want to position themselves. They're creating rotates and adapting around TSM, but TSM is like 17 steps ahead. And most things they've done, even if it's just one player popping off with 3 or 4 kills in a round, that's still a variable you can't account for, and it's something, even if TSM can't plan on, oh, just one dude getting 4 kills, PB still have not found responses quick enough. Even though we're on a side swap, boy, TSM are going into a pretty favorable half here because Parabellum wanted attack first.
Just 2 out of 6 of these rounds. 1/3 of the remaining play is all that TSM need to secure this first map and set them well on their way to punching a ticket to Sweden here. Keep in mind, folks, it is a best of 5. Yes, and TSM did come from the upper bracket, but as you probably noticed from our notches at the top, we are not having a map advantage right now, so this will only be TSM's first map of the series they will claim for themselves. Still need to get the other 2 as well in order to fully lock in their spot. Either way, they are looking good to continue to do so with the unpredictable play on defense and how they constantly were catching Parabellum off guard. Now going to try and do the same thing, but on the attacking side. And hopefully, this will give Parabellum the control they need, switching over to the defensive side to try and swing this back, if only a little bit.
Looking for Parabellum to do what they do best, which is throw their bodies at the problem and hope that it solves it, because of any team in North America, which is actually why I'm excited to see them play in the North American League, if they decide that there's some issue when they play on defense, they can just throw a roamer at the issue. Melted's about to do exactly that. He'll find Bolo, hide behind the generator, but it won't count for 2. Achieve doesn't even take that much HP, but Penguin's right there for the follow-up, but so is Merc. Back and forth we go. TSM ensuring that if they lose a body, They know they'll be able to get one back on Parabellum's side. Spirits will sprint right back through as he also vaulted out looking for another kill. So both of those players on Repel can't do much. You lose a sledge, bad for nades. You'll lose a Finka, also bad for nades. And the only stuff that you've got left for Burn, Flashes and Geo's side. Chala's got some nades. Merc also has his concussion launches. But yeah, still, utility game for TSM still is pretty good compared to Parabellum's.
Yeah, absolutely the case. Parabellum, though, not losing a whole lot in terms of direct operator utility, specifically with Penguin only losing the Malusis, which are, obviously, those Banshees are going to be pre-placed. And the same can be said for the Pests as well. Obviously, you won't be able to move the drones yourself. But now, as we get back into the action, Eska finds the next pick, and it's against Geo as well, putting the advantage back under the control of the defense here, as Parabellum looks to finally negotiate themselves a second round. Chala hoping that someone would take the fight as he starts to move himself towards open area, but it's not going to be the case. Eska continues to hold it. Now finally strikes, but he can't lock in the kill, so instead has to fall back down through the hatch and play this safely, as we still have nearly half the round remaining.
Interesting that we've seen so much action so far, and it's only been a minute and 13 left for Parabellum to dig their heels in and ensure that TSM doesn't have a leg to stand on. Right now, one player inside server, Merc is waiting for the eventual swing. Parabellum loves to swing stuff, but he might just see if he can't bait with the drone first before working his way back up. He won't know exactly where the Vigil is, but Spirits is just creeping right up. Is he going to win the gunfight? The answer is no one, as Merc and Spirits instead will still come to blows, but nobody's going to win the fight. Back off to Server Snack. Both players from TSM now at the bottom of blue, trying to see if one can't cover the other. Nice nade from Chala, but now their positions have been revealed, and Eska's going back for another flank up to open area. Might have a chance to help stall this attack from a different angle, as now both members of TSM trying to go in for this default plant.
Chala going to try to add another vertical angle to this one, but Eska's already done the same as Merc gets caught out before Chala can get in a position to trade him out. Eska won't even be able to be taken down as well by Chala, so he'll just have to hop right into the site, see if he can brute force his way into a win, but no, Eska again with a nice shot here. Finishes off the round with a solid headshot against Chala to finally put a second round on the board for Parabellum.
We saw this for Parabellum in their last series too, deciding, yeah, you know what, let's make the world's latest flank and hope TSM don't notice. Like, that happened on like Oregon Freezer a couple of times, and it worked because no one's expecting him to go right back up main stairs and like just sit on the hatch. They expect both members of the defense to still sit downstairs. TSM's like, yeah, okay, we just equalized man count. We want to open up the wall. We want to get diffuser down. What does Eska say? Pfft, you didn't leave anybody on the hatch. I'll take the high ground and I'll win this thing.
I'm gonna take that.
Actual Obi-Wan moment.
So with that, we will shift over towards our first floor holds now for Parabellum, as they're going to go into open area. And they're also going to bring the Thunderbird back into play here on Penguin, as well as those Kona stations, going to allow for a bit more of an aggressive swing to come out from either inside the site or the supporting positions wherever they may be set up, usually extending over towards Archives and a few other areas here. But we'll build this up and see once again how Parabellum's setup will look like as they try to take control of a third and make this map a bit more palatable for themselves, as TSM is not taking nearly the dominant control they were on the previous play here, but still, don't get me wrong, is very much in the lead right now.
Yeah, and even on that last round, in spite of it being, oh, okay, we're going to hop out a window and kill two players on TSM. TSM's response was essentially as perfect as it could have been. 2 kills, 4-2 kills. We get into a 3v3 with still about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the round. And then things piece by piece end up kind of falling out of place. It's not even that everything is completely off kilter. It's just TSM trying to handle too many things at once, and Parabellum's unpredictability factor being through the roof in moments like this. Still definitely not concerned for TSM. There's still plenty of attacks for them to go through. And again, they only have to get 2. If they identify one weak point site that Parabellum's got and they lose the rest of them, they still only need 2 rounds and they're done with this thing.
That's going to quickly pop open things here with one of the impacts to get a little bit of a better rotate, and more importantly, a POV into the hop-in for that break room window there, should someone from TSM try to test it. You can actually see your Spirits also going to be running in close quarters next to the square door out towards the balcony here. Chala will spot that yokai. Whether it sticks around or not is yet to be seen, but Spirits going to hop down here now that he has been spotted out by the drone, and after quite a bit of a spray, takes out the drone and will fall back closer to the site here in Archives.
All of open area at the minute, occupied by PB defenders. And Bolo wants to make at at least a little bit of a dent in this defense right now. He's going to hold fast, but Penguin's going to open up the frags. Yet again, it's Merc. He's not been having the best day. He's been the opening frag so far for TSM 3 separate times, but there is a response. Spirits 0-8 after Chala puts him in the dirt on 0. So a little bit of a frag fest happening right now. Penguin tries to scamper away, runs into Bullets. Bolo's got 2 more frags. All of a sudden, the elevator pitch looks like Bolo has come out on top. And right now, Kool-Aid and Eska, all they've got to do is fend him off for another minute and a half, but that might be too tall of a task.
Parabellum get jumbled up by the beepers there, giving both of the kills over to Bolo, as well as a huge advantage heading into the final minute and a half of this round here. A 4v2 to build off of. We already saw how TSM play the situation in the opposite form when it's a 2v4, and now we're going to look to try and quickly control things as Kool-Aid just barely gets saved at the end of the day there. That frag nearly taking him out, but thankfully for him, it wasn't cooked for nearly long enough, so he's given plenty of time to run away from that and survive.
More opportunities for Parabellum to also rotate around as well. Eska's perfectly fine going all the way back to front desk, but gets shut down from the vertical play, as does his teammates. So now TSM putting themselves already in what seems like blindingly fast fashion on that point.
Yeah, some great stuff for them. We could see how Parabellum was trying to control the chaos by being quite chaotic themselves there, just wildly peeking some of these angles like the top down from over on top, but just couldn't win either of the fights. And like you guys saw there, a very, very quick closeout to the round, especially after that excellent play from Bolo to shut down both of the aggressive swings over towards Beepers by the main staircase. That really was the nail in the coffin to start ending this round here. So TSM now leads 6-2, back to close to where we started out at the beginning of this half here with a 4-round advantage for them. And it's time to see if they can shut it down here in just one final second floor hold coming up from Parabellum, or it'll take a bit more effort than that to get them over the edge.
I think I've found out why this game has felt like it's progressed so quickly. Am I crazy, or have we not seen a single diffuser go down? I genuinely don't think we have. Was there one?
There was one in round 4. That's
Got it. I was going to say I had missed that one. Oh, yeah, that was the one where Achieved very nearly managed to get around the bomb chassis and get that one down. Okay, cool. But yeah, we've not had to play around post-plant positions very often in this matchup, which is interesting considering how many plants Kool-Aid had collectively back throughout this series so far. He was a plant demon as well as being a kill demon, but he's not had nearly as influential of a game so far today. And TSM is just doing TSM things. We said this, even for the first, I think, 2 rounds of the original bank game that we tried to cover yesterday, this role set from TSM is the prime rule set. Chala on flank watch, Geo primary hard breach, Bolo fragging and doing what Bolo does, Achieved on sledge just feels like it's off kilter, and Merc playing IGL from a Zoph role. So far it's working out, dude. This TSM looks amazing.
Well, Kool-Aid trying to work a bit of a cheeky yokai here inside of the gated windows by the lobby, but is going to get spotted and unfortunately shot out by TSM.
He totally could jump out this window too if he felt like it.
So he's going to lose a piece of that utility. Penguin maybe flirting with it, as will Kool-Aid here, but Spirit's actually going to take a huge amount of damage. Thankfully he's on dock of all operators as well.
Rook and Doc. What's going on?
So an interesting pick. We completely missed that, actually. But yeah, Spirit's going to bring that in, and as a result of that, okay, he's got the stims. I'm sure you guys have been playing Extraction of it recently. Now we're going to see that brought over here for a bit. He's going to stim himself right back up to full HP. It's the same thing I do.
You use Doc for yourself, it's the most selfish character in the game. You use Doc for other people, totally fine. I'm just like, yeah.
You're just weird if you do that.
Yeah, but that's also like when people would spawn peek, Doc had an ACOG, they'd just be like, oh, well, I missed, and they're fine. That's all you really do. I do think in this case you are using the Rook for anything. It's just the range. It's nice to have additional HP coming from the Rook plates, but it's really not going to do much unless you're trying to just entrench yourself. On a site like this, it's a little bit more difficult because you can get killed from below with all of those destructible flooring, and I do think Bolo and the rest of the players that do have frags can punish this kind of thing, but that nade's not going to land with anything. Kool-Aid's been downed across the map. I think we'll have to figure out where that's coming from in a second.
Magnets once again saving the lives of at least one player from Parabellum here. This is going to extend the timer on that frag just a little bit, allow for them to escape further back towards a safer position away from those elevator banks there. Parabellum certainly taking their time with things. It looks like Kool-Aid's down by C or something like that towards the front. Sure. So he's probably going to be in a rough spot to get res back up. Penguin with a nice trade here, though, against Merc after Merc is able to find Spirit sitting on the inside of stock there from an angle that he would be able to see. Either way, though, Kool-Aid's still down and a quarter of the way through the res time. Might be an opportunity to find him, but we'll check in on that later, as TSM still in control right now, as they're looking at a potential 4v3 if they're able to confirm Kool-Aid.
It's kind of a weird spot for Penguin to sit. Yeah, I don't know how advisable that was. He wanted the whole top square, which makes sense. He's got the range to do it with a 2x, but still, that's a pain in the actual backside. Look at where Melted is also inside stock. He shot out the 0 cam, so at the very least, someone knew he was there, if only momentarily, and now he'll make the rotate back. Finally, there's the confidence to pick Kool-Aid back up, ensuring nobody on the window can really kill him, but he's still kind of stuck in a corner because Chala's right here hunting for him. He does see the one arm pop out for just a second, and he finally will get finished off. Smoked off the window finally by Eska, but with the time beginning to dwindle down here, he's going to find a couple more frags. Frag grenade goes right over his head. He'll whip out the shotgun. Geo is not pushing up the stairs. He knows there's something wrong with this. Someone's still got to be at the top of the staircase. Full blind now, but he won't make the push up like spiral stairs. He's going back up the main stairs instead. Achieved, affecting entry into the bomb site. Geo needs to find a time to get this diffuser down, or they have to kill Eska, one of the two. Geo finally in a spot that he likes. Who's going to get this one off first? Clock hits 000. Achieved manages to find the final frag, and map 1 of this grand final goes to TSM FTX.
So TSM controlling Bank in very one-sided fashion, just like they did in the initial series yesterday as well. 7-2 in their favor, setting them up for some great potential to move throughout the rest of this best of 5. Also, because remember what we said